Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and share uh, my dream slash like astral visitation that I had last night. I actually had several. Uh, I did some astral travels, I had regular dreams, and I had astral visitors. Um, like all of that last night. Uh, but I wanted to share about the astral visitation specifically. Um, basically, it started off as a dream of my grandma, which I have not had any dreams of her for like I think around about a year. Um, and she is passed away. So, in case y'all didn't know that, but I haven't dreamed of her or had any visitations or anything like that for like a year now. But I did have a dream of her last night, and the dream like shifted because I think it was as I was waking up basically. So it shifted into an astral visitation because as I woke up, uh, her spirit was still present here in my bedroom. And as that occurred, as I was waking up, I didn't like immediately wake up and like get up and stuff like that, but I like woke up slowly and groggily and was like still laying in my bed in that way, but slowly waking up. And I basically was laying there and I could still feel her spirit present, and also I felt like she was sitting on the bed, like the pressure of that, of someone sitting on the bed or just moving on the bed while you're laying there. I could feel her sitting on the bed. And I also felt Goddess Hecate's presence during this, so I tend to think that maybe Hekate brought my grandma to visit me or something. I don't know, but I did feel Hekate present and as well. But the reason why I wanted to go ahead and share this here on YouTube is because this was a unique experience, because like usually when Goddess Hecate teaches me something, it's directly from her or through Archangel Metatron. I mean, I have learned other things from other deities and spirits, but like when Hecate herself is wanting to give me a lesson, she usually does it directly herself or through the Archangel Metatron. But in this experience last night, it was like she was having my grandma teach me a lesson from her, or for her. And it was about the video that I recently posted, how to understand source consciousness and reality. If y'all have not watched that, then you definitely should, because it is a great insight into understanding consciousness It's also for your empowerment. But this visitation with my grandma and with Hekate present as well gave more insight about that topic. And kind of how that plays in to your true will. So I guess I'll go ahead and summarize the past video in this, just for the sake of making sense cohesively. In the other video, I was talking about source consciousness and how it compares to lucid dreaming. The mental process compares to lucid dreaming. Basically, when you're in a dream, you forget your waking life most often. And you just live your dream life. Or in some cases, you'll remember your waking life and you'll become like lucid in the dream, and thus have more power and creative control in the dream itself. Basically, the template of that process can also be applied to source consciousness itself. The source is, in a way, it's like it is dreaming, and we are all one of the dreams that it's having. And if we become aware of our true identity as being, one incarnation of the source, of the all, then we can become lucid in that way and more empowered. Okay, so I'm not saying that reality and like your body and your physical life is a dream. I'm just saying, or that it's fake or illusion, whatever. I'm just saying that it is comparable to that same mental process of your dreaming mind compared to your waking mind. The consciousness process of that and becoming lucid is comparable to the way that the source exists and we exist, and how the two consciousnesses are really just one, but there's an illusion of perception, an ego identity. That's what's false. But, you are physically real. Albeit, our flesh is temporary and everything of the physical is temporary. So, you just that's just how it is, but it is real. Okay. Like I said, I broke it down much more in the other video, so y'all can go and watch that if you haven't already. Okay. Now, in this dream that I had last night, when my grandma's, well, not really a dream, but when I was waking up and my grandma's spirit was here in my room, on behalf of Goddess Hekate, she was expanding on that concept and that lesson. And she was getting into how that relates to understanding your true will and your just your personal truth, basically. And I'll just tell you what's the lesson exactly. She was talking about how, you don't need to have any fears, basically, because this is just a temporary lifetime, and you are the source embodied more than just being a spark of the source, or just being an emanation of the source, or just being a extension of the source. More than that, we actually just are the source embodied directly. And this is, like in a lot of traditions in the occult, they'll tell you that you are a piece of the source embodied, or that you are like a fragmented, separate shard of it, of the source, of the divine embodied. I think this has to do with the levels of understanding and how deep this thing goes, and the different levels of your understanding of it, and the different levels of your acceptance of it, because it is a process of coming out of your ego identity into becoming more and more aware of your divinity. So there probably is layers to this. In my personal path, I had to go through layers of it, of understanding. But at the point that I'm at right now, after, years of being in this, and not just understanding it conceptually, but experiencing it, like working through it, overcoming my ego identity, aligning myself more with my divinity, my spirit. At the point that I've reached now, it's further than that. Okay, more than just being an emanation from the source, more than just being a shard, more than just being a, saying my spirit. I've got to a point beyond that now where I understand, like, really, we really are just the source embodied. Even calling your spirit is actually limited, because it's not separate from the source. It's not a separate shard or a piece of the source. It just is the source embodied. And we all are that. And so that was coming through, first of all, in the previous lesson of how to understand source reality. Source consciousness and reality. But last night, in the astral visitation, just more expanded on that. And basically my grandma's spirit was telling me, like, you don't have to be afraid of really anything, not even of your physical death, like at that extent. Just don't be afraid of anything, because that limits you. Which, once again, I knew that conceptually, but understanding it from this perspective is like another level. Also, too, like when it comes to your true will and things like that, this is where the lesson was really focused on in last night's visitation. And that was about understanding your true goals, as the source, from the source consciousness perspective. And that really bypasses the lesser goals and agendas of your ego identity. Think from the perspective of being the source embodied in this temporary lifetime. And any of the goals that you may have thought were your true will, that has anything to do with your temporary lifetime and with your ego identity, that is actually not your true will. You might think it is, but it's not. Your true will is your goals from the perspective that you are God. You are the source consciousness embodied in a temporary lifetime. So what are your goals from that perspective? It changes up the entire game, doesn't it? So that was another message that was coming through to me. And I was thinking about that as I was laying here this morning. What are my goals from that perspective? And I came to some few actual goals from my own perspective of source consciousness. And I guess that's my true will. So I just wanted to share that little bit of a message or a lesson or teaching or whatever. I'm still learning this myself, so that's all I really have for now, but I did want to share it. And I know in my past video how to know your true will and develop psychic abilities. I was talking about your true will and how important it is to know your true self in order to know your true will, because your true will is born from knowledge of your true self. And in a lot of cases, that requires you to be disciplined enough to detach yourself from the will that other people have for you, which may shape your own will in some kind of a way. Other people's wills, the box that they want to put you in, that can shape your own will. Maybe not absolutely, but in some kind of a way it can influence your will, your true will. And so a lot of times you have to cut off people if they don't respect that you are going in a different direction from the box that they want to put you in. If they respect you, then you don't really necessarily have to do that. But you still do, in either case, need to detach yourself from being influenced from other people's will for you. And now that I have got this next step in the lessons, even your own ego's will for you can also be in conflict with your true will when you're thinking from the perspective that you are the source consciousness embodied. And if it's not in conflict, it could just be another distraction from embodying your true will. So I wanted to include that on my channel because as I continue to learn, I will continue to share, okay? So y'all let me know if you have any questions or comments. I will see y'all on the next videos. Blessed be.